Janitors overseas making $70,000, cafeteria workers making $85,000, IT help desk pulling $95,000, all with free housing. And almost nobody in America knows these jobs even exist. That sounds impossible, right? But I'm about to prove it's real. My own friend disappeared from social media for 8 months. Then suddenly, he's posting from a luxury resort in the Middle East. It looked like a vacation, but it wasn't. He was working IT support for General Atomics and making more than our engineer friends who spent years in college. That sent me down a rabbit hole into a $600 billion parallel economy that almost nobody is talking about. And once you understand how it works, you'll never look at your career or your paycheck the same way again. This isn't about government jobs, it's government contracts. Private companies get paid billions every year to keep US operations running worldwide. And they don't just need specialists, they need regular people, drivers, cooks, mechanics, warehouse staff, technicians. Why do these jobs pay so much more than back home? Simple: relocation. Companies have to convince Americans to fly overseas, often to places you'd never think about visiting. So they pay premiums, they add allowances, they cover housing, meals, flights, and in many cases, if you qualify, the first $120,000 of income is tax-free. Imagine this: cafeteria staff earning $85,000 overseas. Back home, that same job might pay $28,000. That's not just a raise, that's life-changing. These aren't vague ideas, these are real postings from contractors like General Atomics, Mission Essential, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon. Warehouse worker in Qatar, $81,000. Driver in Italy, $68,000 plus meals. Trades and technical roles pay even more. Carpenter in Djibouti, $88,000 base plus per diem. Vehicle mechanic in Qatar, $95,000 base, overtime eligible. Back home, these jobs often max out at $40,000 to $60,000. Overseas, 2 to 3 times higher. Plus, your expenses are covered. If you want to see the exact security clearance pathways that open the door to jobs like these, I put together a free guide. The link's in the description. Grab it, because it's the fastest way to get leverage in this hidden economy. At home, even a good paycheck disappears fast. Rent, $1,800. Groceries, $600. Car payment and insurance, $650. Utilities, gas, internet, gone. Overseas, those costs vanish. Housing, meals, and flights, paid for. That's why workers overseas save so much. Instead of scraping by, they bank $60,000 to $80,000 in a single year. What would your life look like if you didn't pay rent or groceries for 12 straight months? What if every paycheck went straight into your bank account? So what's it really like once you land overseas? Picture this: 10 to 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week. That sounds heavy, but every extra hour is overtime. And when the shift ends, you don't go home to bills. You walk back to company-provided housing, often in secure compounds with gyms, Wi-Fi, and dining facilities. Dinner? Already cooked. Transportation? Already covered. Your daily routine becomes work, eat, sleep, without commutes, grocery runs, or surprise expenses draining your paycheck. Now compare that to the US grind: unpaid commute time, traffic jams, expensive groceries, rent increases, insurance premiums. At home, every dollar you earn is already spoken for. Overseas, the opposite happens. Your account grows week after week because you're not spending. Imagine seeing your bank balance jump by thousands every month with no effort. Here's what most people don't realize: this isn't just a one-year hustle, it's a career pipeline. A warehouse worker in Qatar can very comfortably work their way to 6 figures within 2 years. A janitor in Iraq, promoted to facilities supervisor with a clearance at $125,000. One LinkedIn profile showed a guy starting as a warehouse worker, earning $81,000. Within 3 years, he was a logistics lead pulling $120,000 plus. No extra degrees, no career switch. Just staying in the system and proving himself. The process is simple: background check, medical clearance, and once you're approved, they put you on a plane, hand you a bed in company housing, and you start immediately. Most roles don't even require a clearance to start, but once you're in, companies sponsor you, and that clearance, it's a golden ticket. It instantly makes you competitive for 6-figure jobs, jobs that never even show up on public job boards. If you're serious about breaking into this world, download my free clearance guide in the description. It breaks down every level step by step. And hit subscribe right now so you don't miss the future videos where I show you which companies are hiring this week and what locations pay the most. What you don't need: a college degree, years of experience, and no, you don't need military service. The reality is these companies will train you because they need people more than they need perfect resumes. That's why you'll see job postings with no clearance required, and yet they still pay $70,000 to $90,000 starting. For anyone who can show up on time, work hard, and pass the checks, the door is wide open. People hear these numbers and instantly doubt it. It must be too dangerous. Not true. Yes, there are contracts in Iraq, but there are just as many in safe zones: Germany, Japan, Italy, South Korea. And in regards to the "you need military experience" myth, wrong again. Contractors hire civilians all the time. Cafeteria workers, drivers, mechanics, IT support, regular people who can pass a background check. Training is provided. And for those thinking it's a scam, it would be if we were talking about no-name recruiters. But we're talking billion-dollar corporations: General Atomics, Mission Essential, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon. These firms have been running US government contracts for decades. If you're thinking you'll be stuck forever, false. Contracts are typically 1 year with built-in R&R flights every few months. Some companies even fly you anywhere in the world for a 2-week vacation. And by the way, if you arrive and don't like it, or have an emergency, or just plain decide it's not a life you want, you can leave at any time. It's at-will employment, not prison. The reality: the risks are smaller than you think, and the opportunities are bigger than you can imagine. This industry isn't shrinking, it's growing. The US government is increasing overseas spending. General Atomics has over 300 open positions. Mission Essential has 200 plus. Lockheed Martin has more than 150. These aren't side gigs. These are billion-dollar corporations desperate for workers. And the best part? Once you've done a contract, you're in. Companies prefer to promote and rehire people who already know how overseas operations work. That's why someone who starts in food service can climb into management within just a few years. Plus, many contracts include R&R. Every few months, the company flies you for a 2-week vacation. So not only are you banking money, you're traveling on the company's dime. So let's zoom out. People in the US are fighting over $40,000 jobs that demand degrees. Meanwhile, this hidden economy is paying $70,000 plus for jobs you could do right now, with housing, meals, and flights included. The only reason most people don't do it? They don't know it exists. Or they assume it's too dangerous, too complicated, or too good to be true. But the reality is, these jobs are open today. If you want to see the clearance pathways that can turn an entry-level contract into a lifetime of 6-figure opportunities, grab my free guide in the description. And join thousands of people already learning about this hidden economy. Hit subscribe so you don't get left behind. These contracts are filling now. The question isn't whether they exist. The question is whether you'll take action, or stay stuck in the same cycle while others quietly build wealth overseas.